Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. Hi everyone and welcome to our new lecture. Our lecture today is belong to Mustalah al-Hadith. It's very important science. And we will talk about an important and precise topic in the science of Hadith. It's the method of rational criticism among Hadith scholars. Some students, some people think that the science of Hadith depends only on translation and transmission and narration, but in reality it's based on strict logical rules and accurate methods of verification and analysis. The Greek scholars used these tools to protect the Prophet Sunnah from distortion and fabrication. Then, what is the definition of rational criticism in Hadith science? Okay, it's the way of our thinking about the matan, about the Hadith, about the meaning of Hadith. We must judge the matan, the meaning of Hadith, by thinking, by our reason, and compare the meaning with the facts, with the reality, and compare with the Quran facts. A Sunnah, well-known Hadith, well-known Sunnah. We must make this compare to judge the Hadith. You know that every Hadith consists of matan and isnad. Matan, body of the text. Isnad, chain of narrators. In this science, we will focus to the matan, not to isnad. When we read any hadith, we will understand its meaning and we will ask, does the meaning make sense? Does it go against the Quran, reason or reality? Does it go with the Quran facts, reason, rules, our reality? When did the rational criticism method begin to be used? Some students, some people think that it's new and it's foreign. It's come from west or east, but it comes from east or west, but in fact it's original. The scholars know it and put it, set it for judge hadith. It started with the early scholars. Imam Malik ibn Anas said this rejected. This is rejected. He talked about hadith, not because the chain is weak. He didn't speak about chain. He speak about matan, not because the chain is weak, but because the meaning does not make sense or goes against reality. And Imam Shafi'i, in his book, famous book, Al-Risala, set rules for accepting hadith. One rule is that hadith should not go against the Quran, well-known hadiths or reason. Then we need to compare the meaning of hadith. Then we will judge hadith. Example, Imam Malik rejected a hadith that said not to make wudu from sun-heated water. Why he rejected this hadith? Because in reality people used it and had no harm. He said, I haven't heard of anyone harmed by it. Rule of new rule, contradiction with the Quran or confirm Sunnah. One main type of rational criticism is rejecting hadiths that clearly go against strong the Quran or well-known authentic Sunnah. Example, the hadith that says the sun rises between the horns of Satan was reviewed by scholars. Some rejected it because it seems to conflict with scientific facts about the sun. We know how the sun rises and how the sun rests. Some of them interpreted the hadith as a meaning that it's disliked to pray at this time because some nations, some people worship the sun and prostrate to it at sunrise and sunset. Example 2. A fabricated hadith said paradise has 360 gates. This number is not supported by authentic reports, so scholars reject it. Impossible or strange meaning. It's very important title, very important rule. If the meaning of hadith is impossible or very strange without strong evidence, scholars questioned it. Example, a hadith says Adam was 60 cubits tall and people became shorter after him. Some scholars accepted it, but others interpreted it logically, not literally. Example 2. Fake hadiths say the Prophet, peace be upon him, went to the seventh heaven 70 times a day. 70 times a day. Scholars reject this as illogical and not supported. The rule of reasonable meaning. This rule says that a hadith must have a meaning that makes sense and matches the goals of Sharia and the character of the Prophet. Example, the authentic hadith, a believer is not bitten from the same hole twice. It matches the logic that a wise person doesn't repeat the same mistake. Then we can accept it. Use of history and science. Historic example. A hadith says that Muawiyah wrote Revelation. Scholars studied when he became Muslim and if this is possible. We must discuss its historic facts. How time Muawiyah became with the Prophet. Then the scholars take their judge. Some of them accept, some of them reject. Scientific example: some fake stories said the earth stands on a bull's back. Scholars rejected this because they go against logic and science. The mythology of al-Bukhari and Muslim in their books. What the method of them when they wrote their books. Imam al-Bukhari only included hadiths in his book if the chain was strong and the meaning made sense. Imam Muslim wrote in his introduction about strange hadiths. He said that if a hadith goes against logic or religion, it should be rejected. Does rational criticism mean preferring reason over revelation? It's very important question. The answer is no. No. Rational criticism is a way to understand revelation and separate the true from the false. Reason helps us understand, but it does not replace the Quran or the Sunnah. Conclusion. At the end of our lecture, the conclusion is the method of rational criticism used by Hadith scholars shows the correctness of this science and the strength of its tools. Scholars were not just narrators, they were deep thinkers and fear analysts. And thank you for listening to my lecture.